Welcome to another edition of Northern Heat. My name is Bob Lennon, President of ThermalWood Canada, host for the show. And today our special guest, Eric Johnson. Eric, how are you?
I'm good, Bob. Thank you for having me. It's been a dream of mine.
It's been a dream of yours, yeah. So let's, you started working with us here at ThermalWood Canada. Now it's been around 4 months, might be a little bit more than that. We can't really pick the date when you started. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What have you done? And we'll migrate it in and how we ended up meeting together.
Yeah, sure. It's a little bit of a weird story, but a good one. But yeah, I was born in Campbellton. I spent all my schooling I was born in Moncton, and moved up to Campbellton when I was 5 years old. Did grade 1 through 12 in Campbellton, and then I went to Fredericton for university. Started at UNB, went to St. Thomas, finished at St. Thomas. Met my wife there. Well, in Fredericton while we were working at Tim Hortons. It's a pretty beautiful story.
We won't get into those details then.
No. So anyways, and then I moved back. I moved to Bathurst in 2017 to work for the railroad. Did that for a couple of years, and then I left there. Worked at the sawmill in Beldoon a couple of years too. Found my way because I went to school for communications and journalism. So I found my way to journalism here in Bathurst, which I didn't think was going to happen. I just saw a posting one day when I was working at the mill, and I thought that was what I wanted to do. I did freelance journalism in Fredericton, but I didn't think I'd ever land like a full-time journalism job. But I saw that they were posting one, and so I went for it. Ended up getting it. And that's how we crossed paths through that. I did that only for a few months until they told me that they were kind of getting rid of the job completely in Bathurst, which was too bad. I thought that with reporting and marketing, that's what I wanted to do. But anyway, through that, I ended up finding the Northern Heat Report. When I was looking for stories one day, I saw the ThermalWood Canada website. I saw the link to YouTube that brought me to your page, and there's a lot of videos there. So I pitched that to my editor, and I said that, this guy's doing like something really interesting. I like this marketing strategy, and I didn't know much about it, but I said that there's something interesting going on here, and I'd like to maybe give him a call and do a story if you guys are okay with that. And they said, go for it. So I ended up calling you up one day and kind of talking about how Northern Heat came to be and the story we did, which ended up honestly being one of my favorite stories that I've done. I enjoyed doing that a lot. So that's why when they got rid of the job,
you decided to reach out to me and say, yeah.
And I didn't know if anything was going to come of that. It was kind of a shot in the dark, but I just said we had a really good interview. You were connected in Bathurst, and I'm from Campbellton, and I spent some time in Bathurst. But even when I was in Bathurst, I wasn't working in Bathurst. The railroad was in Campbellton, Miramichi. The mill, he was in Beldoon. So I didn't really grow a network or connections in the Bathurst area itself. So until I became a reporter, but then when that job went away, I wanted to work in Bathurst. I was kind of tired of traveling, and anybody that lives up here knows that half the year the traveling is pretty awful.
But the other thing too is that you've got a young family, so want to stay here, and then your in-laws were planning on moving here, and your father was moving away, but that's another story altogether. We can talk about your father, but we'll keep that for another show altogether because I know him well too, so we could have some great stories there. But I remember when you contacted me and said, do you know anybody or that could be hiring somebody with my talents and what I end up doing. You came to see me, and we sat down and we chatted a little bit, and it lined it up into our method of marketing and what you could do. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing today, because it ties into all our marketing, and then you're kind of using a lot of your skills, but again, morphing that into something else.
Yeah, well, that's why I was really happy when you talked about helping you with with your marketing strategy, and we came in that first day and talked about it, because I kind of have a weird mixed bag, a little bit here, a little bit there. I've experience with the mills and experience with reporting, and I've done marketing too, and so when you came in and said you wanted to kind of create some chatter and how can I do that, I found a way to, like I say, throw my reporting in there, doing some interviews, getting stories, because say, as we talked a lot about the Gair Maxwell branding strategy, which is telling stories, and obviously that's what the Northern Heat Report does, and I'm very interested in telling stories too, and everybody has one. So when it came in, we thought about ways to market, by interviewing anybody that has anything to do with ThermalWood Canada. If you're doing any projects for anybody, if the people that work here, and we started doing that, and then we created the LinkedIn company page, which I thought would be a great spot to, because it's kind of a business to business, and it's business to consumer too. But I like the LinkedIn idea because I thought for what you do, there's a lot of ways to reach out to the right people through LinkedIn, because you already had your Facebook page and Instagram. But I thought by doing the LinkedIn thing, it would create a different network, and LinkedIn's a great spot for the stories.
Well, the other thing too is that since you set up that LinkedIn page for the company, we reached 1,000 followers this past week, which is absolutely amazing, and in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
You've been able to do that in about 4 months, and so that's pretty incredible. But the other thing too that I find that's kind of interesting on where you've morphed and gone is that you're starting to follow other groups, and then people are communicating with you. And if we just take our Obsidian story,
Yeah.
and so since in the last couple of months, you've got a few interviews lined up with magazines and people that are using stuff, and now they're going to try the product and post it. So
Yeah, well,
how's that happening?
Yeah, well, that came a lot from kind of the Northern Heat Report too. Because you're very comfortable speaking, you're comfortable on screen, and not everybody is. So you being comfortable doing interviews, doing podcasts, it led me down a kind of a different rabbit hole with marketing, and kind of ways, how could I get the face up there too? Like, how could I get you talking on different podcasts? How I could set up interviews for magazines, because it just gives you a free range to just talk about all the innovative and stuff that's going on here that not everybody's aware of. So I got to just reaching out to podcasts that do mostly Canadian, but that talk to entrepreneurs, small businesses, people that are doing something innovative with technology, and through that, that led me down. And as I started tackling the Obsidian, that led me down a lot of groups of luthiers, of different guitar manufacturers, guitar players, even violin, like luthiers for violins, and it just led me down this whole other path. And then I started reaching out to all the guitar magazines and all of that, because one way to get a following is through just your own posts and everything, but another way is to piggyback on other people's large following. So we're working with Fender, which is big. So if I can get that out there and people go, I don't really know anything about this Obsidian product, but then you can tie in, well, we're working with Fender and Vigilant Guitars. Trevor's always doing great stuff and posting a lot about it.
That's another example, is that Trevor with Vigilant Guitars, he put out a video last week talking about our Obsidian product for fingerboards, and he did I don't know, it's like 7 or 8 minute video that he's posted on his, that we can now use as a testimonial that can go out to be able to promote. So one of the things that I find that you've added to the group here is expanded our social media presence, right? But you've gone expanded even further by digging in and going and piggybacking on others.
Yeah, definitely. And Trevor's a great example of what I'm trying to do with multiple guitar companies, because that is a great way to market. It's like you say, it's testimonials. It's people that have tried the product, and instead of me always reaching out and saying, trust me, now we're sending samples. So we started sending samples to manufacturers all over the world, and all I'm telling them is to try it out, and if you like it, and the ones that have big YouTube presences and do these big long detailed videos of building a guitar from scratch, I tell them, can you put it in one of your videos and just say what you like about the product, and then they're saying, yeah, definitely, and I'll send you free samples for you to just try it out, and then if you come, if the time comes where you do a video, just talk about it a little bit. Or if they don't have a big social media presence, then just email me. Pros, if there's some con or anything, just tell me.
Just so we know more.
Yeah, and then that way I'm taking all that information, and it's just building a much stronger marketing campaign, because now I'm, like I already started with Trevor's video. I link that in now when I'm sending emails out to guitar companies to say, like, here's one of the earliest, companies to try it, and they're still using it all the time and they love it, and here's what they're saying. And and I sent that to, I had a call with a luthier in Montreal, and he saw that video and said he absolutely loved it, and it answered a lot of the questions that he had. And that's exactly what. And then if I can get a whole bunch of companies doing that kind of stuff, then the product, it speaks for itself, and it creates that much more interest.
Yeah, and the interesting part about all this stuff and this method of marketing is by telling stories and by teaming up with others. But anybody can do this. Would you have either thought about this concept before we met and before we followed down this path?
No, not really. Honestly, I mean, I was always interested in marketing, but I felt like a lot of, I did some freelance marketing stuff, but a lot of it was like we talked about, like the hard selling and paid ads and just like kind of driving it down people's throats. And that's just not what ThermalWood Canada is about at all. So, I got away from marketing a little bit because I didn't really want to do it that way. I wanted to still reach out to people, but very personable, and my approach isn't hard selling at all. It's just going up and, hey, you want to try this product, and sending some pictures, sending some videos. You want to check this out? Tell us what you think. Doing some posts, showing the people that are working in the back. Putting a face to the brand and just doing all that stuff, and kind of, and I find that way, oftentimes it brings people to me. I reach out a lot, but now more and more I'm getting people that are reaching out to me and saying, hey, I saw this post, and I saw the picture, especially with the custom made Telecaster. That is bringing in a lot. Like, wow, this is a beautiful guitar, and I want to know more. And now every time I go on LinkedIn, there's multiple messages like, can I learn more about this? Can I learn more? And of course, it's not just Obsidian. I'm reaching out. You have a wide, array of products here. So the Obsidian is one of the ones I'm focusing on the most right now. But I reach out about all kinds of products, and the customizable aspect of what you guys do, which I think is very important too. So there's, a whole bunch of different things going on.
You also mentioned the fact of putting a face to the brand. And so today you were in the shop and you were interviewing some of our newest employees that have started, just like we're doing an interview now. And I've done this a couple of times with some employees. So this is, again, having an opportunity to interview you and talk about what you do for the company. But you're starting to interview the guys and taking some pictures and get more information that you're going to post on Facebook too.
Yeah, definitely. And, I was just talking to Jonathan about that too, that, those posts, oftentimes when we track the analytics, those are the ones that people like the most. They love seeing that side of the family side of a brand, and here are the guys, and the guys like working here. And I did a post a couple of months ago about kind of what are your first thoughts when you think about the job. And, they all said they love it and they all want to stay here. And a lot of the guys, have been here for years and years, some of them since you started it in 2008. So that says a lot. That's a testimony in itself that, that the turnover rate isn't, we come here and 2 weeks later we're leaving. The guys come here and they find a home here and they want to work here and stay. And even the brand new employee that I just interviewed said the exact same thing, that, the people here treat them they treat them so well, and that they made them feel at home already. And those are also stories. It's not just pushing products all the time. It's pushing the business itself and how everybody's treated here and why people like it here. And that's another side of marketing that I love tackling.
Well, I want to thank you very much for calling me in the first place and saying, is there an opportunity that you might see out there for my talents? Because again, you've been able to enlarge our community and building that community, and that's what it's all about. It's being able to reach out to more people and let more people know about the story and get to know who we are, and that's important. And it helps build, as somebody had coined at one time, is trust. It's that in community or manufacturing trust, that if you go into a store, you migrate to the person that you know, right? Because you trust that person to give you the best deal and to make sure that they're going to have the best product. And that's kind of what we want to portray. So this is helping us get there. So I really appreciate that you're doing that for us and that you're part of our family and part of our team. So, and I'm sure we're going to take this into different places, because even in the last 4 months, the fact that you've been able to increase our you know, broaden our community within LinkedIn to over 1,000 people is pretty impressive. And now that, you know, we're sending out products to different people that we have never been able to do before, and looking at markets with you know, recycled wood and tiny homes and stuff. Those are all places that we didn't look at opportunities before. So it helps that. So appreciate it, and thanks for being part of the team.
Oh, well, thank you, Bob. Yeah, just before we wrap up, I want to thank you too, because I appreciate you giving me a chance and also allowing me the freedom to kind of try things out the way that I wanted to do. You know, it's just been a very interesting way to do it, and not, you know, not feel too judged, or, you know, you're letting me kind of chase these, you know, different leads every way that I see them. And I think that now, I'm starting to focus and starting to zero in more, and from here I think it's gonna keep building. So,
Well, you never know. That's the key, is you never know. So you got to be curious. You got to go check it out, and that's one of the things you're doing. And again, very much appreciated. So thank you.
thanks, Bob.
There we are. Another edition for Northern Heat for this week. The place you come to listen to the stories that haven't been discovered yet.